The Weldcorp MIG welders start with the MIG 100. This welder is a no-gas wire feed welder that uses a flux core wire. This means that it's basically a wire feed arc welder with the wire having the flux on the inside, which produces the welding atmosphere whilst welding, similar to an arc welding electrode that has the flux on the outside. To load the wire and set up the welder for welding, you load the wire spool onto the welder like this, replace the washer, spring and retaining knob. Unwind enough wire to feed through the guide tube, through the rollers and into the lead a short way like this. Fold back the wire tension roller and tighten tension knob. Remove the torch gas nozzle and contact tip like this. This allows the wire to feed through the torch lead freely and reduces the chances of the wire penetrating the torch lead wall. Roll the torch out straight in front of the welder, switch the welder on, and press the torch trigger, holding the lead straight out in front of the machine like this. Wait for the wire to feed through the lead and out the end of the torch. By holding the lead straight, it'll reduce the chance of the wire penetrating the wall of the lead. Replace the contact tip and nozzle, and adjust the wire tension knob so the wire still feeds when you hold the end of the wire, like this. Trim the wire to about this length and you're almost ready to go. This process is the same for all MIG models. To set up the MIG welders for welding, the aim here is to select the correct wire speed to match the amp setting. You can check this chart in your owner's manual for a starting point. It'll give an approximate setting to start, then it's a little trial and error to achieve the correct setting. If your wire speed is too slow and your amps are too high, it'll look like this. And if your wire speed is too fast and your amps are too low, it'll look like this. This is what you're looking for. Correct amps and correct wire speed will look like this. The best advice is to grab some scrap material and practice before you attempt your project. MIG welding is an easy process where there's no need to strike an arc. You just need to place the nozzle and contact tip about 2 mm from the job and pull the trigger. The wire loading and setup of the MIG welders is basically the same for gas and no-gas welding. The difference is that you need to change the working leads to the correct polarity for the intended use. This way for gas, this way for no gas. Also, the wire roller will need to be changed to suit the wire being used. For gas welding, be sure to use the correct gas. Again, refer to this chart in your owner's manual for recommended settings, the correct wire, the correct gas, and the correct power setting. Remember, the chart is a guide only, and further fine-tuning of settings may be needed. An important point to remember: all Weldcorp welders are fitted with a thermal overload protection, which protects the machine against burnout through overloading or extended use. The welder will automatically switch off when overheated and reset when the welder has cooled down enough to continue welding. Weldcorp has a large range of wire, electrodes and accessories, so be sure to select the correct wire, electrode and accessories to suit your welder. Read the product specification and recommendations on the packaging. The information will guide you to the correct selection for your project. Troubleshooting. No power. Check the power is connected and the power switch is in the on position. Check that the thermal overload switch is not on, and this is indicated by an illuminated yellow light on the front panel of the welder. When the welder cools, the switch will reset. Check supply fuse. Welder will not produce an arc. Check power connections and ensure the earth clamp is attached and has good contact. Blowing burn holes in the material. The amp setting too high or the metal too thin. Arc unstable. Dirty workpiece or poor earth connection. Damaged electrode or insufficient gas. An inconsistent weld. Check the amp setting. Check wire feed speed. Check welding angle and speed. If your problem is continuing, you can call the Weldcorp helpline on 1800 011 812. Before we finish, remember these few tips. Safety. The most important point is to be aware of the safety aspects. Job preparation. Prepare the job correctly. Get the setup right. Check the settings. Match the base metal with the proper electrodes, wire and shielding gas. Have fun and practice to develop your welding skills.